Here's a starting point. CJ McCollum and Robert Covington for Ben Simmons and George Hill. And then you have McCollum next to Embiid, all that stuff. Imagine Covington, Thibault, and re-signed Danny Green alongside two core pieces. Here's the thing with the CJ for Ben thing. You lose a lot of defense and passing. And I know this is crap on Ben Simmons' hour, but he still gives you defense and passing. Robert Covington, I mean, he's a good team defender. He's not much of an on-ball guy. I just don't know if this does as much for Philly as other people believe it would, and I could be wrong there, of course. As for Ben in Portland, I mean, the fit next to Nurkic could be awkward. You might just need a shooting big next to Ben, but that would be the closest example to another Steph-Draymond pairing, Dame and Ben. Because if Ben sets a screen for Dame, yeah, teams would try to switch that, but Dame gets it up so fast they might be forced to double team him. You pass it to Ben, and then Ben can make the play to whoever's open, and then Ben could, of course, help them a lot defensively. So I do see it from Portland's side of things. Next we have the T-Wolves, who, of course, do not have their draft pick, so that's nice for them. Simmons and George Hill for D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley. It would hardly help Philly's defense, but Morey can turn around and swing a secondary deal on that front. I mean, D'Lo has some of the passing that Ben has. Malik Beasley's just trying to chuck shots and nothing else, which is fine. I like Malik Beasley. They get so much worse on defense, and like they say, they'll try to make another move, but I don't know if you really could. If he made Curry available, he'd have no shortage of suitors. So then Malik Beasley takes over the Seth Curry role, basically. I mean, I kind of get it. The other thing with D'Lo is just like, I don't know, man. The guy was awesome for a couple of months to get himself an all-star bid. And since then, I mean, the defense isn't so good. The passing, I mean, he gets you to 6 assists, but he also has a bunch of plays where he doesn't see the open guy. The efficiency isn't as good as you'd really like it to be, given how often he has the ball. The Indiana Pacers. It seems like their offer is Malcolm Brogdon and TJ Warren. I mean, it's cool. It's just not super duper exciting either, especially because TJ Warren's had injury stuff. Now we have the Raptors. Pascal Siakam regressed meaningfully last season. I'm pretty sure he was better in the last stretch. Perhaps there's a swap there, so just Siakam for Ben Simmons straight up. I mean, if you're the Raptors, though, after seeing Ben, wouldn't you just think that fully realized Siakam would be better? For Toronto's sake, I mean, you've already had Siakam for a while. They probably feel confident they can get him back going in the right direction. Chicago Bulls. Simmons for Levine, I think that's dead. Simmons for Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. I think that's a terrible trade for the Sixers. Imagine having to deal with all this Ben Simmons stuff, and then you take on Marvin Bagley. I mean, Buddy Hield's all right, but even the Kings don't love him like that, I feel like. Even if he was better in the last, 15, 20 games of this previous season. Simmons for Kemba Walker, now we're just getting insulting. Okay, let's see. Ben Simmons to the Mavericks, Porzingis to the Rockets, John Wall to the Sixers. So I could picture the Rockets wanting Porzingis over John Wall just because he's younger and there's more potential there. That said, his contract has another year on it as opposed to Wall's. And there could be a world in which John Wall is kind of like a Chris Paul type of guy for their young dudes, whoever they're going to be over the next few years. Not that he's going to be Chris Paul, of course. As for Ben Simmons in Dallas, this one is kind of awkward. I mean, is it good for Luka to have a non-shooter out there? I mean, I guess if Ben was playing center, but I don't really think he can play center like that. I don't think this actually happens. But the Ben Simmons in Dallas thing, it would be kind of wild. I mean, it would certainly help him defensively because Porzingis has fallen off on D and Ben is still great. I guess the potential awkwardness would just be on offense. I bet we slip Simmons to the Spurs for 2 to 3 of their young 3 and D guys and flip Tobias Harris for a scoring point guard. I mean, I like a lot of the Spurs young guys, DeJounte, Keldon, and all that, but is there really a move for Ben Simmons in there? I mean, maybe if they offloaded a bunch of picks, but Embiid's window is right now. You need to get players for Simmons. You flip Tobias Harris for a scoring point guard. I mean, I don't know. Is that your Malcolm Brogdon trade in some way? I don't know if the Pacers really want that. Some of you all acting like Ben's stock is at Scalabrini levels. Yes. People are acting like Ben Simmons is horrible at basketball. Like, look, if the Sixers just trade for some guy who can give them 20 points a game and doesn't defend and doesn't pass, are we sure it makes them better? Trade Ben for a couple solid bench pieces and sign Kyle Lowry. If they trade former number 1 overall pick, 3-time All-Star, first-team defense Ben Simmons for some guys who can give him 17 minutes a game, well, that's going to be a hell of a thing. Let's see. This guy is bringing up the Cavs. What's the move? Is it Ben Simmons for Colin Sexton? Because there is that whole thing with like Sexton and his contract with Cleveland. The passing and the defense would take a big hit, though, so you need more than that. Okay, here is the Spurs trade from Bleacher Report. DeJounte, Devin Vassell, and the number 12 pick for Ben Simmons. I don't think that's enough for Philly. Andrew Wiggins, the 2022 first. The fit with Ben Simmons and Draymond, that'd be kind of weird unless they were going to trade Draymond. Even then, that could just mess up the chemistry a lot. For Wiggins, I mean, I know Wiggins made some strides, but I would be fearful that a lot of the things that he's had problems with would come back with the Sixers. Now Complex has Pat Bev and Luke Kennard going to the Sixers for Ben and a first. What the hell am I even reading? I guess the Wizards have the second best odds to trade for Ben Simmons. For Westbrook, the Sixers would need to throw in Seth Curry or a handful of bench guys to get the money to work. So we're doing Ben Simmons for Russell Westbrook. If you're frustrated with Ben Simmons standing in the dunker spot in a playoff game, you're going to be just as frustrated with Russell Westbrook going 7 for 23, while Embiid is doing everything he can do. And it seems even the Jazz are getting an appearance here. Pairing Gobert with Simmons. NBA Twitter would have an absolute meltdown if the Jazz had Ben Simmons and Rudy Gobert. Boyan or Jordan Clarkson, there's no move, but it's certainly fun to imagine. It seems the Lakers have also made an appearance. We've got Kuzma, KCP, Montrez, and the 22nd pick. I don't think that does it. Sign and trade, Schroeder, THT, and then they can also offer their 2027 first, second, whatever. I don't think the Lakers are getting Ben Simmons. Cleveland, the most I'd offer is Love, Sexton, and a pick or two. Kevin Love being in a deal for Ben Simmons just ruins the whole trade. He's not going to be healthy. Okay, now this one is actually kind of wild. So this is the Bradley Beal wants out of Washington move. It's Beal and Bertans for Simmons, Maxey, Danny Green, and 2 firsts. I'm going to be honest, this one I can kind of mess with. I know Sixers fans don't want to give up Maxey and 2 picks. They don't care about Ben Simmons, I know that right now. But for Beal, I could actually kind of see it. Now, you don't love the Bertans contract, so maybe you'd want to try something besides him. But I can kind of see the world of this trade.